Richard Reyes, aka Pancho Claus. Well, I began working with children in 1981. I was part of a theater group called Teatro Bilingüe de Houston, and we were primarily doing adult theater. And and that same year, my sister was killed in a drive-by shooting. She was a real innocent young lady. She had just graduated high school. She was babysitting a friend, and she took the little girl down the street to get some candy. And this tragedy happened. In the early 80s in Houston, gang violence was just going rampant. We had Southwest Cholos and the Brady Bunch, and so many gangs were popping up. And so I decided to focus our youth program, which was mainly teenagers, on dealing with things that were going wrong in our neighborhood. There was a lot of inhalant abuse, dropouts was big, and especially the gang violence. So we started with a group of about 25 kids and put together a little theater company. And they would put on plays that I've written, but the plays were written in terms of dropouts or inhalant abuse. Even AIDS came out in the early 80s. And so it had that kind of message for youth. As we went along, I got called in to work at detention centers, and because they knew I was doing gang violence and gang prevention. So I got called in to do Burnett Balin Detention Center, the Harris County Youth Village, the Downtown Detention Center. So I had a good mix of kids. When I would get them all together, you had, A and B students that were interested in the arts, and you had kids that just got out of jail, but they learned from each other. It was a real interesting program. These kids traveled all around Houston. You could say they traveled the United States. They performed in universities in Arkansas and Oklahoma, in New York. They did classes at a little stint at Fordham University. So it opened up their eyes to the world. It opened up my eyes to their problems. And we got a lot of community leaders out of there. Abel Dabla was one of those original students and became the president of Houston Community College. Cal Alvarado became our state senator. Patricia Cantu is the assistant police chief. So it kind of inspired us to use the arts to get kids' attention on how they could be a betterment to their community. I believe that youth need to be immersed with the arts because it's a real team building endeavor, much like sports or other projects that they have at school, whether they're in a play or a band or a dance group. They have to learn to work together, but at the same time, they're their own individual person putting their own little characterization into their part. And so they learn how important it is to work together. And the arts is a good pathway to those life skills. If you can find what they're interested in. For instance, when we go into youth detention center, and even the neighborhood kids, we find out what they're interested in. Let's build a lowrider bike. Let's have an art contest. Let's do breakdancing. And then before you know it, they're doing serious dancing, or they become engineers or architects from learning how to build bikes. And you build an interest in that aspect of the arts that translate into some sort of path forward. So now we're in this new facility after 44 years of working in the immediate inner city. We've come out of the city a little bit from the inner city because this is where we're needed. The more needy children are in the outskirts of town. We're in the Aldine area. There's a tremendous need here. We're very fortunate that we got a space and we're surrounded by needing and children. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of apartments in this neighborhood where we can affect children. Well, a program that we're really appreciative is the HERO program. I just had a recent setback. I had like 4 operations, so I was laid back during our most critical time, which is Christmas. And I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to pull it off, but the heroes became true heroes, not only building my morale and coming to Mass to visit me in the hospital, but also doing the grunt work of, we have hundreds of boxes of toy collection boxes that need to be decorated. And they did that, you know? And so we're just so grateful for them, because when you meet them, they know manners, they know respecting their elders, they know teamwork. And in such a short time, it's just amazing and beautiful thing to watch.